We're live.
And we live.
What are you doing?
First thing I hear is my dog barking. Hell yeah. About to screw a webcam to a light.
Nice.
I guess I'll pre-drill the hole first. High quality work happening over here.
Yes, sir. Yeah. How was your Thanksgiving?
That was good, man. We just went to my brother's house. They hosted this year. It was nice. Actually played the wagon a little bit. First time I've heard it in months.
Nice.
Nick said he goes out there every week or so, fires it up, make sure everything's working.
Yeah, I got a show coming up on Sunday. Last one for the Explorer before I take it apart.
We have a show
Shit.
on the 15th, I think.
So,
What up? Yeah, I think it's next. Yeah, it's on the 15th, next weekend. Import Face Off down in New Orleans.
that's what I'm going to. Import
It's
Face Off.
actually the first time that they've had Import Face Off at NOLA Motor Speedway, so it's gonna be kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, they do a few of them out here every year, so this is the obviously last one of the year. But excited to get the Explorer out there and let her rip for an afternoon, and then under the knife she goes.
I think we have another Import Face Off in January, actually.
What's up, Bobby?
Oh, I was thinking about there's a car audio event in Fresno. I was considering doing that, but Fresno is far as fuck. And so I decided not to do that. And then there was a truck event in Turlock, which is about an hour and 45 minutes from me. And I was considering that. But then I saw my friend Max Griffin, who's a UFC fighter that I've trained with a couple of times, and he's a fucking badass. And he's fighting on a 310 this Saturday. And I was like, shit, I wonder how much tickets for fucking UFC 310 are. And I found tickets for $74 for like shitty ones. Now, mind you, I splurged a little beyond that. But and then my buddy Mikey had a free place for us to stay. So we're flying at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday and flying out at like 4 o'clock or 3:45 on Sunday. And me and my boy Mike.
Was UFC here in Vegas?
Yep, it's there in Vegas.
Oh, you should have. Too bad you couldn't stay for Sunday and come to the show.
We can be there in the morning until like 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay. What time's your flight?
4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. We'll come in the morning.
Yeah, we'll come out in the morning then. We'll go get breakfast, then we'll come chill at the fucking show, and then we'll go. So where's the show? It's
at the Speedway.
Okay.
It's about 20 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
Nice.
Leave the Speedway at like 1:45 or 2 o'clock, and
it gets dark at like fucking 4 o'clock here now.
Bro, I'm so tired of it.
No, yeah, it's been dark here for 2 fucking hours, man. It's fucking 10 after fucking 6. And like,
it sucks.
I was like, I gotta get ready for the show. And then I was like, it's 4:30. Mall, okay. It's already dark outside. It's fucking weird. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's fucking December. Here we are. And then I had looked earlier at the fucking, then I clicked the screen, to get to start moving my screens around on the monitors and get my shit together to have, be ready to be on the show. And like the pricing and shit for the UFC 310 was there. And I was like, called Mikey. I'm like, hey man,
let's go.
Fuck that truck show. Let's go to fucking 310. And he's like, oh dude, I'm down. I'm like, I know you're fucking down. It's a matter of me actually being able to fuck around.
How much were are there any tickets left?
Yeah, there's shitloads of tickets left.
You should have fucking hit me up. I would have gone with you. I guess I still can, but I'm not going to be able to get
You probably can get one. I can tell you exactly what seats we're in, and the tickets we got were $251.
All right, well, let me see. Send me your location. Send location, as Khabib would say. As Khabib would say. You want the fight? Send me location.
Okay, let me see here.
Yeah, no, it's getting dark at 4 o'clock stuff, man. Like, and then today it was rainy all day, so it was basically just nighttime all day.
I mean, what I don't understand is it already gets dark earlier because of where the sun is. in
Yeah.
the winter. Why do we go back even more?
Well, they
It's
were
like
supposed to stop
twice
it.
as dark.
From what I remember.
Yeah, they keep saying that shit, but Arizona doesn't do it. They're smart. See it?
There's actually our tickets that like you can't scan that. It tells you to fuck off because it changes every 60 seconds. But that we're seats 6 and 7, row Z 19. When the reason why we picked that is when we went to 300, they ended up putting us in row Z, which is all the way the back of the bottom floor of the fucking seating area. And we just stood behind our seats the whole time because we're all super fucking short. Like it was like me and Mikey, and Mikey's like a little bit shorter than me, and then Josh is like 1 inch taller than me, and then Eric is like 5'8", and he was the tallest of the four of us. So like we're all little dudes. So we just stood there and we were going fucking crazy, flipping out, going nuts, screaming until we couldn't fucking see straight. My fucking got lightheaded when Max Holloway knocked out Gaethje. I was like, ah! And I'm like, oh, I'm fucking lightheaded.
Who's on this card? Who's on this card? I have no idea.
It's Pantoja and what's it called? Is the main one.
I don't even know who that
Kenzie
is.
Dern is fighting some other chick. What's his name? Shavkat is fighting Ian Gary. They're both undefeated. That should be that's probably the most exciting fight on the card there. And then obviously Max Griffin, who is, a local Sacramento hero that, I've trained with a little bit. Like I was a purple belt. I think he had just got his blue belt last time we rolled. So this is probably 8 years ago or some shit. And so for like 3.5 minutes, I was just smearing him all over the mat. I'm like, I'm a fucking badass, a UFC
I'm
fighter.
on his ass.
And then I got tired.
And then he didn't.
Max did not. And then I was in big, big trouble. I was like, oh no. It's like all over me. I'm like, I'm hustling like a motherfucker, but I was going to fucking barf my guts out. I'm like, dude, I run 7-minute miles, but I bet Max runs fucking 4-minute miles because that's what it takes to be
and he runs back-to-back 4-minute miles.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. Or at least 5-minute fucking sprints because that's what a motherfucking round of the UFC is. And I was a big trouble. We got done and I was like, holy shit, man. And he was like, dude, you were all over me. I was like, dude, you exhausted me
so quick.
Me, like, controlling everything that was happening, and then I couldn't keep up with your fucking intensity anymore. He's like, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, but now I think he's a brown belt. I'm pretty sure.
Uh-oh.
He's a badass. I mean, Max, and like, man, you get a really good idea of how incredibly talented you need to just be anybody on the UFC roster watching him train. Being in the same room as one of those guys, you're like, holy fucking shit, that is some really extraordinary level of talent. Yeah,
that's one reason why I feel like the Olympics, they need to have like an average dude, average female in everything. They're like, all right. That's right.
They're like, here's 49-year-old Bobby Gately. He's 5'4", 180, and he's gonna try pole vault for his first time.
Because like they look, it's like professionals. Any professional sport, they look so close. They're so good that it doesn't look hard. But like if I tried to go play NFL, I would get ran over immediately.
Yeah, I'd be dead.
Shit. Yeah,
they'd be like, I accidentally killed the little man.
Is he okay?
He dead.
Jonathan Coleman, I haven't used that battery at all myself, but I think some of Excess Power's ratings they're always been a little on the high. Like these may not be, but like their AGMs definitely have a crazy rating on them for some reason. But if Excess Power comes out with it, you at least know it's going to be safe for the most part. So,
I mean, for the price, just
like you can definitely buy more power cheaper, but like I would put an Excess Power lithium battery in my wife's car before I put any DIY battery. Which and I put a Warpath in there just because he uses spacers. Like he talked about on the last show. He's not using wooden crates and some toothpicks to hold it together.
There are a lot of guys that are doing that.
I know.
Man. But the craziest shit is the wild ass shit you see people doing with some of the C-Maxes. You're like, what the fuck is that, dude? You're like,
Steven, you're gonna need to message MTI or Jeffrey Hall to get that answer. They're the only ones still, to my knowledge, that have integrated into that system deeply.
Let me see.
Bobby might have, but
yeah, we did one. But you want a full range signal?
you're probably not going to find a single full range.
You're going to have to sum everything. You're going to have to
Yeah.
multiple, and you're going to probably need key locks.
Yep.
So, and even then, that system's a nightmare. What super duper sucks, and you're not going to be able to get rid of this, and if you do, I will give you a bunch of money.
Oh, a
You
lot
can
of people will
make
give
it-
you a bunch of money.
Yeah, everybody will pay you, but it has the I guess you call it like piped in engine sounds. So that one that we did with the V-Spec with the AGK, and it is the one with like the 39 speaker wild shit. The signal on the back sub was kind of shitty, and the signal on the front sub was okay, but we used a key lock to sum the two. And both of them and the speakers and the doors and everything else make engine sounds when you drive the truck. Like,
It's fucking insane.
and it's a fucking like 700, 800 horsepower supercharged thing.
What?
that they make.
Why don't they just put an exhaust that makes some noise?
It sounds awesome outside of it. It's
I
dude,
don't get it. I don't know. So
it is
weird.
the fucking lamest thing I've ever experienced. And
So
and then like, okay, yes, I know it's a suburban size fucking Escalade. It's and you're like, dude, fucking 700-800 horsepower. It doesn't feel like that at all. Like I'm
All
like,
right, Steven, if you
now
hang on.
I'm also a little bit distorted in my reference of what fast is because we have a Tesla, and like, but I
Steven,
don't
if you
feel
hold
like
on for a
this thing
second,
would super duper pull like my regular F-150 with 315 horsepower. This thing isn't like fucking blowing me away. You know what I mean? It would pull me. It's faster, but it's not $200,000 faster. Like it was much less amazing than I fucking wanted.
Which
Steven, if you hold,
It's
you
a
hold for a
really,
second,
really nice truck, and the fucking heat. You know what I liked
We'll have the
more is
answer for you.
fucking Denali. The Denali has seat massagers on your butt and your back that are
Steven's truck does that.
really, really, really good. Like I was like, I would never drive this without that running. Like 100% of the time I'm driving that thing, I'm like, get in, boop, turn that on. How do I just make that turn on as soon as I sit down? Like,
Jeffrey's about to hop in, so
Yeah.
him.
yeah, I called
So-
Jeffrey before I wired that thing up, and he was like, and I'm like, yeah, dude, we're gonna have a 15K on 312s. And he's like,
Oh, you
"Yeah,
think
you're gonna
so?
have- you're gonna have some engine sounds, and so we gave the customer a button, and he turns that shit off when he's like pulling into a parking lot. He just turns the subs off. Is what he does now. Hi, Jeff.
What up, guys?
what up?
As soon as anyone mentions Escalade AKG, I'm like, wait.
I know the guy.
That's
I
what
know
was-
the
that
guy.
thing pulled in. I was phoning a friend. That's for damn sure.
Right.
But
And
yeah.
anytime I've seen anyone talk about it, you and MTI are the first people mentioned.
Right.
Like on a 5-star car
we've
stereo
done
with doing,
one. The Denali doesn't do that shit with the Bose system. It doesn't have that, so that performs really well. We're really happy with the Denali.
So, are you talking about the engine stuff?
Yeah, the engine stuff.
Well, the guy
Well,
was asking where to
Uh-oh.
get.
a full range
Yeah, where to
signal.
get
Like you're
full
probably
range
not.
signal in that.
Well,
Right.
you can't get a full range signal, but hang on, Bobby. I got something for you.
What you got?
Uh-oh.
What you got? I'll call that customer. He'll come down here right now for us to fix that fucking thing.
Yeah. No, there's a specific wire that you have to cut. I have to show you. I'll tell you privately where it is. Yeah, it's.
Boy,
There's
look at
a-
Bob. He's like, I'll find
I
him.
will send you a picture of my privates.
Tell you what, I'll tell you the wire on public if you do.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, send me all that info. I super appreciate you. I'll call you and be like, hey, fucking dude, customer will be really pumped.
Yeah, no, it took a minute to find. I have some resources that do installs for Cadillac dealerships,
okay.
and they done found it.
Yeah,
So
that is
it's a,
fucking awesome.
it was literally like, you know, a freaking James Bond movie of like, oh, you got to find the 97th red wire on the 14th pin kind of shit, but we found it.
Nice. You're like, all right, here's the harness, and there's like fucking 628 gauge wires going into this thing, and it's like it's not light blue, it's light blue.
Yeah,
so-
With a
exactly.
red stripe.
So basically,
Right next to the light blue with an orange stripe though, so don't get those mixed up.
So
Yeah.
you know, people kind of they're complaining about saying it privately. Jeffrey doesn't want to be the reason why you cut up your $200,000 truck.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there's plenty
Because
of things
if
that-
you cut the wrong red wire out of like 97, and now
Then
your
it
truck
blows up like a fucking bomb. The whole truck just
You're-
self-destruct.
your stuff won't work if you cut the wrong wire.
So this conversation and where I was going with that reminded me of when I was working as a carpenter when I was like 19 years old, and I was framing walls on the second floor of this house, and these guys were digging with a backhoe like 30 feet from me, and this dude's like takes a scoop with the backhoe, and I hear like the hydraulics kind of, and I hear this guy crack fucking noise, and then he like goes over and he like dumps the scoop, and I'm kind of looking because I hear these funny sounds, and as he's dumping the scoop, I see a bundle of wires about this big around
Oh no.
fall out of that fucking scoop, and he's all, oh shit, and I walk over, I'm looking, and they're all like little pinner phone wires,
Yeah.
and and so they're just like, oh, they're standing there, and like the next day they were digging out this big ass area, and they pull the wires all out, and they drop this big ass box in there that's like 4 feet deep, and this guy out there is like setting up like a big junction section right there. Like, this is where we're going to install a new patch
That's
box.
right. There's a
Like,
new one here
That
now.
was the solution. And it's like the guys in there, and I remember the forklift driver was the one that first used the fucking light blue fucking joke. But literally, it really was like that. It was, there's like several hundreds of wires in there, and they're fucking sitting there, and the guy's just separating them out. He's fucking running them all over. And
That's why you're supposed to call before you dig, right?
Yes.
So,
that was like
speaking of
1990.
splicing occurring.
95. So
The fiber trailer was one street over today. The AT&T fiber trailer. Well, it's almost here.
So
Almost.
what did you want to know about the Escalade except for the engine noise injection stuff? Because that's going to be
the guy was asking about where to find
Right here. Here's the question.
a full signal.
which we know he won't. So
Okay,
what?
so-
That's why I was telling him he was probably going to need multiple key locks, and he would need to do some summing.
okay. So let me touch on that for a second.
Yeah.
There's a general rule which many upper end shops know that when it's an upmixed system, you do not try to sum. Period. So key locks sum. That is the definition of what they do.
Yeah.
Along with JL Fix 86 and Fix 82s and other summing devices, you do not sum a upmix system. So
I don't think key locks. I mean, they're only 2-channel in. I don't think they sum.
Well,
Now
they sum those
it
too.
does try to fix it.
yeah, well, it does some stuff that you don't want to do. So
Yeah.
But as a general rule of thumb, whenever you have these crazy upmix systems, so the Meridian system in McLarens, Jaguars, Range Rovers, the Escalade AKG systems, the I just found one in a Cadillac CT5 Blackwing. I forget what it's called. It is a Bose system, but it's an upmixed Bose system, so it's a different one. Versus the Yukon that we just did today. There's a brand new 2024 Denali Yukon that had the Bose system. That one was not upmixed, FYI. So
take a second, explain to people what upmixed is.
okay, so You have normal stereo, meaning left and right. Okay, we're now experts on stereo. The upmixed means that it steers sound left, center, and right into other speakers, such as rear fill or whatever the case. So it physically steers the sound. And when you try to take an upmix system and make it stereo again, devices aren't designed for that. So the results are extremely bad. And so when you get an upmix system, you're better to go line for line. So if you have 36 speakers, such as the Escalade, you don't technically need 36 channels because it's really 31 channels. So you really need 31 channels of input and then 31 channels of output. So you go left tweeter in, into DSP, DSP into amplifier, unless it's built in like VXI, and then output to left tweeter. You literally just make a box of, I'm going to go here, in, out, here, in, out, here, in, out, every single speaker. That's line to line.
Didn't the first time you guys worked on one of those, you guys literally did that, just used a bunch of VXs and just dumped the whole straight in and just we're going to take everything, we're just going to amplify everything.
Yeah,
they were the first to do an aftermarket system in one of those.
Yeah,
and so you can do that on any aftermarket system. So that's my bread and butter on like Aston Martins, and then like I just had a call about a Jaguar today. Range Rovers, we do a lot of VXI, like stack 2 or 3 VXIs in it and just channel for channel. But back to the Escalade. So there's I forget if it's 31 or 32 channels, but there's 31 or 32 channels, and there's 36 total speakers. The speakers in the front pillars, the center channel, and the speakers in the upper rear doors are arrays. So they have one channel in for 2 speakers, which is why there's a weird number of channels and speakers there. There's no such thing as a full range in that truck. For instance, there's 2 different AKG systems. One has a front and a rear subwoofer. One has only a rear subwoofer. So the one that has the front and the rear, the front sub is mostly full range with like a 6 dB roll off on the bottom end. And the back sub plays to the depths of China, but rolls off at like 35 hertz.
Yeah.
So
we needed both. We actually did some of that, and it fucking sounds really good. We used the key lock and paired those 2 together to run those. I mean, we got a Ruthless 10K, or no, we have a Gately Prototype 15K running the 312s at 0.66 ohms in that thing, and it fucking hammers, but it also hammers when he like is going on a downhill. And it's all, and he's like, dude, he's like, I got a choice. I can either turn those subs off or I can rail the beat, because if you turn, because it doesn't, the level of the beat, like, anyway, so he can crank up the fucking beat and pound, but he's like, I gotta be like really fucking pounding, otherwise I just turned that shit off, because he was driving from up to Tahoe and down a little ways, heading towards Reno. And he's like, dude, we were on the downhills, man. It was a fucking nightmare. I'd be coming up over the crest. I'd let off the gas and subs would start slamming. I'd just turn the shit off.
Yeah.
Driving. No, and then we'd start an uphill again and I'd turn it back on.
And so in base package additions to the AKG system, you can do exactly what you did. And it's a great way to do it. You can either use a key lock or you can use some kind of processor to kind of flatten out that signal a little bit, and you can combine that front and rear sub. If you have the AKG system with only the rear sub, it plays pretty much full bass. Right. Like, it's not full range, but it's full bass, right? What I was talking about line for line is when people try and do anything other than just a sub. So you can just trust me on that. It just works out better. But yeah, on your customer, Bobby, you literally have to snip one single wire. If you snip more than one, I'll get
him in here tomorrow. I will get him here tomorrow, and he will hustle that thing down here because that shit drives him nuts. He's like, I deal with it, but God, dude, find a solution for that. And I'm like, I just got to keep asking all of my colleagues, and here we are. I'm so glad that Steve and James asked this question and we got you on, because
No, I pinky promise I will give you that info. But the reason that I'm being so careful on it is because one wire, only one. If you snip more than one, bad things happen. And
I
if
bet.
it's the wrong one, bad things happen. So
Yep.
I don't want anyone
Yeah,
besides
like you're like, it's got to be this one. You're like right up against the plug. Snip. Like,
And
oh,
you
no,
know
that's
these
not
wires
the
probably,
one.
this
Trying to
ain't
stick
no
it back
12
on
gauge
there,
wire.
fucking glue it and shit. Oh my
No,
God.
This isn't a 12 gauge wire. It's just like a 96 gauge. You breathe on it aggressively, it's going to break.
Look,
it's
here we go. Here's another one.
Before we
I
get too far
I
away
told you
from
should get the Denali, not the Escalade, Eric. It has the seat massagers, dude. Go
Bro,
drive the Denali.
Jeffrey,
Seat
have you
massagers,
seen
dude? You're like, oh my God, I don't even want to get out of this car. It's
the Scion named Monkey Box
top of the head, no.
with the all acrylic back hatch?
No.
it's
Bro.
pretty cool. You see through the whole box. It's got
Eric,
318.
send me a picture real quick on Facebook.
hey,
I think
before
if
we
you
get
go
too
to
far
the
away
Gately Audio
from the Escalade system,
page, it has
Jeff,
under builds.
keep talking about that line out thing. So when you're basically, what do you use to do all those channels? Like, I mean, not everybody's going to want to get 30 some channels worth of amps or whatever, but like, is there
You
some
don't
sort
do
of, there's no other way to do it. Huh? There's no sort of
So
processor that has 32 channels that you can use.
yeah, so good question. The issue is let's just say that I'm a sound quality guy and I really like front stage, screw all those rear speakers, screw that center channel, all that stuff. Well, if there's something called telematics, such as, like GPS navigation, or if there's backup sensors, that's pretty sweet.
Oh no,
Um,
that's the front.
So
Just wait.
if there's like backup sensors that beep, you have to have all of that information come in and out. And if you just try and bypass it and do just like, well, I'm just going to do the front system and then leave all the factory stuff factory for the back, you're going to have these weird latency echo issues. So you kind of have to, in a sort of way, have to like put it all through the same processor to make sure that there's no delay from the electronics, basically. So therefore,
Oh, the
when
four.
when you have these crazy, crazy high channel systems, yeah, the VXI and some others are at an advantage because if you have more than 8 or 12 channels? Most processors, like 90% of processors that I know, don't have more than 12 channels. There's, the VXIs, there's the Helix V18, there's the Goldhorn stuff.
And that's about it.
And there's a couple others that I can think of that I wouldn't want to use that have more than 8 inputs. But yeah, having 8 inputs and like specifically speaking against one of the ones that I sell and install all the time, the Mosconis, you have banks, 4 banks, and it's limited to those 4 banks. So if let's just say you had a boat with more than 3 zones and you wanted to EQ a sub, well, you can't. So you got to be very careful on number of channels, mixing, and all that stuff, and how you use the processors. So says, hey Jeffrey, line input converter, and I tap those. Yes. So if you use if you have the AKG system with the front and the rear sub, so it's going to be a rear sub in the driver's side rear quarter panel and a front sub in the console. It's an 8-inch front sub and it's a 12-inch rear sub. If you use both of those signals and you sum them correctly, because they do have phase related issues too, which is why the key lock is good. If you sum them correctly, you get good response. The other way that you can do it is you can use just the front sub and you can use something that eats the high voltage. So like I used to put them into a VX1001, but that's limited to 17 volts, give or take. So the problem is that system produces like 35 volts. So you have to put
amp can eat that? A kicker amp.
Yeah. So you have to have 2 things. You have to have something that can DEQ the electrical side, such as like a VXI with a loop back. So you feed it into channel 1 and 2, you DEQ it, and then you feed it back into itself, and that'll fix what you need. But you also have to reduce the voltage coming in. So you can use a JL line output converter, a LC2, anything that can take like 40 volts in and you can feed that in, step it down, feed it into the VXI, do the loop back, and then feed it out to the sub, and then that'll fix what you need to fix.
It sounds
So-
like just get a key lock.
Yeah, and that so we've actually about 60 to 80% of what we do now is kicker key locks.
So Steven, your amp can eat it. You don't have the ability to flatten anything because there's no like DSP built into it. But
yeah, and without the DSP, you're going to be running into some pretty major EQ related things. Like you're going to be like, "Damn, 47 hertz is freaking getting it in here."
but
And then,
I think a key lock will. I don't think I'm capable of this install. Are you just doing the subs? Like is that?
yeah. So what I would do, yeah, the Audison also has a lot of inputs too. What I would do, I don't remember where. I'd have to ask my tech that did the integration for me. I don't remember where, but there's 3 amplifiers in that truck. If it's the 36 speaker AKG,
Jesus.
two in the back driver quarter, and then 1 in the console. Problem is, I don't remember where the signal is for the console sub. If it's in the back or if it's in the console, I would assume it's in the console. If it's me, I would try and grab both and then have a quick way to disconnect them. If I don't like the outputs, I can just disconnect one of the 2 subs and try and recalibrate the key lock. So
Bobby, when you
You
send
have to have 2 signals to calibrate a key lock, right?
well, even if you don't have 2 signals, you can just feed the same signal into both.
Okay. That was
So-
something we were concerned about. Now we've used, I don't even know how many dozen key locks. We use them fucking goddamn 5 or 8 of them a month easy. We've been just going through them. Our local kicker distributor is like, you buy like all of them. I'm like, I don't know how people aren't using these.
We go through like 30 to 40 a week.
I bet you do, because you do a shitload more installs than we do. We use them in almost everything we're fucking doing. Like almost anything. There's a lot of vehicles we'll use 2 of them, and you know, we'll get really good results. They're
Bobby-
it's such a great product.
for Steven, which 2 do you know where those 2 signals are for the front and back for him to, if he used the key lock?
If he shoots us an email or gives us a call, I'll get him on with Colt and Tyson. They'll remember where they're at. I think just for simplicity, since they had a lot of shit apart anyway, he was like, I'm just going to go to the speaker. That way I'm not trying to figure out what the fuck is what and searching for shit. If I just go to the speaker and pull wire, and to the speaker and pull wire, boom, bam, done, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. And then, Steven, I would say you'd be able to do it because you hooking the key lock up. Once you have the key lock hooked up, what do you have to do? Is there a process to get
There's like a calibrating process. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, there's a whole instruction thing that walks you through it.
Yeah,
And
then you
it's
just
automated once it
negotiate that?
starts. It's automated once it starts.
the biggest tip on the key lock is to actually use the file on the kicker website.
Yep.
I know it sounds dumb, but like we've tried to download it and put it in a USB. No, just play it on your phone. Like stream it from your phone on the website, and just go that way.
Hey, Glow Industries makes the baddest LEDs on the planet. Those
So-
right there.
The kicker fixes time alignment and everything.
Yeah,
Fixes
the
equalization, time alignment. It fixes volume dependent equalization and goddamn
All pass filters.
all pass.
all pass
Like
filters.
2 per channel.
It'll do. I think it was 3 per channel, wasn't it? Was it
Oh,
3
might
or
be.
2?
2, but if there's 2 that are close together, it'll do them both.
Yeah, the biggest thing with the key lock and any summing thing, make sure to check it after it. Don't just assume that it's successfully calibrated. Yeah, plug in a thing and verify that
Yeah,
it's
look
flat.
at it. That's the
How
other
many
thing.
channels are you trying to sum?
That
I
if you
suppose
don't
is the
have
question.
something that will look at the signal after, then you're just kind of point and
I
shoot.
mean,
That's all you get. Yeah.
That's like saying you're a carpenter and you don't have a level though. I don't
Well,
buy that.
Well, I mean,
Well,
think
and
about the
not
tool
everybody
that
can
we
afford
needed to
15
accurately
Mac
measure.
systems there, fucking total tuner.
So, no, the key lock I think is only some 2 channels.
Yeah, so it'll no. So yeah, the key lock is a 2-channel. So like today we did a Chevy Colorado. We've been doing a ton of those lately. I don't know if you
Do you guys
been
make
doing
a box
Bobby?
for that?
You what?
Do you guys make a special box for the Colorado?
We do. We do. Funny story. I'll talk about that in a second because there's something very important on that. So like for instance, Glow Industries, the kicker key lock, we had to use 2 of them today to get our front and our rear signal done correctly in the Colorado. So Bobby, yeah, the Colorado box, it's not public on our page yet, but I can send you pictures. It's a really weird looking box.
Seth, you shouldn't. I don't think you need to sum in the sub signal.
Yeah, just left and right will get
And
you
then
like
just put
key
sub.
lock. Yeah,
Sorry.
key locks you can pretty much just do left and right full range signal and you're done. Unless you want separate sub control for whatever reason. But
And then you might be able to just use that sub signal right
Directly.
into an amplifier or DSP and call it good. You may
Yeah.
not need.
But the Colorado box, so you guys know that I do a crap ton of JL over at Mobile Toys. So for instance, when you do JL subs, normally you would just buy the dual 8 TW3s and do a JL amp, right? Well, if you look at the specs, the TW3 and the dual 8s require a bigger enclosure than the dual 4s. You might say, that's kind of horse, man, whatever. But trust me, it makes a difference. The Colorados are the reason. The dual 8s, it's not big enough. We have maximized it to the extreme. I mean, I've begged my guys to squeeze more out of it, and they can't. So if you use the dual 8s, it's like, it's okay. Then you got to use the dual 4s, and it freaking bangs. So use the dual 4s in the Colorado, and then you have to do a 1 ohm stable amp.
Jamie, you don't know what these are?
I make a bunch of those.
These are aluminum
Kind of my thing. It'd be great. Use this like the sub channel of my
pass-throughs for
my
wires
channel
from the
would be
boxes.
fantastic. It'd be a little excessive amount of power for those, but too much is just enough.
Yeah. No, I mean we've been I know Drew's gonna puke here, but I actually like them. The
What?
new audio control Epic ones. They're
I
like
haven't heard them. No, I don't have a negative opinion about product until I mess with it.
they're super duper budget friendly and like 1,000 watts, 1 ohm stable, like $200, and it works. It's probably about the same quality as a JL JD amplifier if I had to take a guess, which is fine. You know, it's not a bad amp, and yeah. So I basically for the Colorado specifically, I brought in the audio control Epic thousands. So
The only signals I can tap are post-processing crossover. So
Yeah.
then I would just feed the sub signal just into the DSP.
Yeah. And and use a key lock for the other left right.
So Jamie, these you drill a 1/2-inch hole into the wood, screw that in, and boom, you got terminals.
yep.
3/4 inch and 1.5
But
You're
yeah.
gonna
So
also want to make those in like 15/16 and 11/16.
Yeah, for the
Oh,
back of it.
Or maybe have like a little washer that comes with them so that you can use it on because like birch material, 1-inch birch is 15/16 and 3/4 inch birch is 11/16.
Well, yeah, these were. I guess these are made with MDF in mind. I don't know. Joey sources the aluminum parts, right? And
Well, wouldn't
then
they
he's-
still work?
yeah,
Still want
I
to be a
mean,
little bit loose though, right? Or no?
no. So it screws into the front. There's 3 screws in the
Okay.
front.
So it would just have a little space in the back.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have a little washer thingy, but it doesn't actually need it. You'd be all right.
Yeah, Joey has sold these for a while, but he just sold them without the little color rings. So I got a bunch of them, and I was like, I bet I can make an identifier for that, and I did. Whole
Nice.
bunch of colors. I got these on my truck box in the truck. I'm swapping the Tahoe to these because nuts and bolts are a pain in the ass. And then I started offering fancy wiring for fun.
Yeah, speaking of nuts and bolts, I had an idea for a new way to do like nut inserts, kind of like a variant of it that would work better for us. So I did message Bobby about it, and I messaged my other buddy Dan that lives here that does 3D printing shit. So he said he was going to draw some up, but he hasn't yet. So I know you're busy, Bobby, but I could run it by you, and
You
it
just
probably wouldn't
do
take
a
long to
little
draw it.
scribbly drawing with like on a napkin or something. I should be.
Yeah, I could just I could talk to you about it, and you'd see it right away. It's the issue with using those for us is the backside of it. Like I've had it happen to me, and I've only used them a few times of them spinning. So
What's
the
that?
last
Nuts
thing
and
you wanna
bolts?
do is you're trying to get that bolt out, and you can't because
When you got
it's
like a
just-
hurricane nut or a fucking T-nut, I hate those fucking things. They drive me.
Jeffrey, you
Yeah.
get to test those US amps yet?
The US amps, no, they're gonna sit on a shelf because Chris buys things and puts them on a shelf.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to put them in an amazing sounding build.
Yeah, probably. Just like his PPI Art Series amps that we have like 14 of
Hey,
in the shop, right?
Sometimes you just
Those are
want to
my
own cool
fucking
shit to own
favorite.
cool shit. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I used to run those way back. I wish I still had them. I wish I never got rid of all my old shit.
Dude, he's been scouring the internet like just like on the low, just buying these Art Series amps and like making sure he has the entire collection and duplicates and all kinds of shit. It's pretty, and I mean they're beautiful amps, but it's just funny.
Yeah,
Like,
well, Hammy
Old
and I.
heads are
So
like that, man.
we've talked about doing amps, and if we do, we're kind of going to use those as our inspiration. Do like a newer version of the Art Series amps, like with some cool graphics that are maybe like only 100 of them are going to be made type
Yeah.
thing.
See, now, I have enough limited edition amps. I don't need to buy more. But I mean, I'll buy it though. You know what I mean? If you, I'll get it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Dogecoin just keeps going to the moon, and then that'll be
That's
our
right.
amp money. For
Dude,
the
that's
company.
like someone said. I can't remember where I said it. Someone said that it'd be cool if Ascendant Audio did like a run of custom subs or something. You know, Scott did a run of those. I'm like, bruh, I would probably never use it, but I would buy an Ascendant Audio sub tonight.
You mean
Yeah.
amps?
No subs.
They have them. You can buy them right now.
No, I mean like a bit like a copy of like one of the original, like the MT based.
Yeah,
games.
I mean Scott
I
still
would buy
does.
an MT today too.
You can, you could definitely still buy Ascendant stuff. They're just they're pretty much, they're only I think a few dealers here and there. They're hard to get, but he still is building Ascendant stuff, which I thought was
Yeah, no, like, and it's based on, I guess, on the newer stuff. I mean, like, I want like an original, like, I want a 12-spoke basket. I want the goods.
You just want an old Ascendant sub.
80K a
Yeah.
set for every single art series that they had or something. I saw
wow.
at one point years ago on eBay. Remember the little Soundstream 100 watt 1-channel amps? They were like
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember
from the
those.
90s. It was before my time of owning Soundstream, so it was like early 90s, late 80s
Jesus.
Soundstream, and they had these little 100-watt amps. Well, somewhere along the way, all these guys in Japan wanted them, so people in the States were getting 800 and 900 and
Bro,
$1,000
that's
bucks
happening right now with
for these little Soundstream 100-watt fucking amplifiers. I was looking at watching it happen. I was just entertained. I had looked
That's happening
for
right now
Soundstream
with-
amps. I wanted the reference ones from my era, the early 90s that I owned and installed several
With,
of. And I was like, fuck man, I would love to have some of those. I wanted to find blown ones to just mount them on the wall. Right?
The
I'd pay
UPRSs
60
are
or $100
selling
for
for
a
a
fucking blown up amp and be like, zip, 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 just screw that motherfucker to the wall. And then I stumbled across that, and then I ended up on some Facebook page where guys were talking about them and why, and it was like, yeah, and if you sell one for $800 or $1,000, it's probably going to Japan. And guys were talking about how they were selling them. And then Brian Nyman, like that passed away a year or so ago. I was in his shop one day at one of the shows, and I'm like, and I'm standing there talking to him, and I'm all, you got 5 of those? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, like a year and a half ago, those things were going for like $1,000 on eBay. He's like, I should sell those. And I was like, and I stood there with him and I looked it up and I saw some of them that like the bidding was at like $450. I was like, dude,
You missed it.
$400 or $500. Like, and he's like, I should do that shit. I was like, dude, put them shits on eBay, sell them motherfuckers.
Bro, so
Never did it.
ADPRSs are selling. If you have a new one, it's $1,000. But what's selling more than that, thanks to TikTok, is the dolphin. Any radio with a dolphin. Any radio with a dolphin, and if it's like a fold down Premiere from forever
Oh,
ago,
the double face one, the silver ones. So
dude, we're talking
I, at one
thousands of
point-
dollars right now.
It's so stupid. You know, there's plenty of those around. You can find them, but you have
Yeah,
to
They're
search them.
like nice working ones are going for crazy money,
like,
That's-
what are you talking crazy money? $1,000,
$2,000 or
$1,500?
$3,000 for
Oh my god, that's
for a
absurd.
fully working, like with the accessories, because like there's you gotta think of how these are old, like old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
I
the
had
ADPRS,
those. The
ADPRS, I had like 6 of those in my possession at one
We'll come
time.
back to
Because I
this
had 4 vehicles and I had one in every one of my cars. Because I was buying them for like $100 or
Dude, I used to get them
$120.
things for nothing.
And then every vehicle I got in, I had the same head unit and I could just operate it without thinking. And it was simple.
See, I'm doing the
and
same
then I had
thing,
a
but
couple
with-
of extra
with
because, you know, people would want me to do an install and I'd be like, you should just use this fucking radio. It works real good.
It's,
So,
Jeffrey had an
there's-
ADPRS for a long time.
I've been
Dude.
I've been debating if I want to actually sell it. It's been sitting on my toolbox, like literally 20 feet from me right here. And I'm just like, man, if someone wants a 3-time champion ADPRS, it's sitting there.
SQ champion ready to go.
Hey.
Yeah, he
There's a
finally went
chance.
to this century. This century got him a.
it might
10-year
have
double.
a fucking ADPRS in the dash, Eric. I have my Subaru that I keep on getting reminded of this week. It's a Forester full STI drivetrain swap, and I fucking no engine in it right now. But
I mean, it's a Subaru. Of course, there's no engine in it.
yeah, fuck you.
I mean, look, bro, look. I got a Chevy with a creaky dash. Subarus ain't got motors in them. It just is what it is.
It's
Ugh,
just one of them
Yes,
things.
You guys see what
it's
just
a
happened?
thing.
Look at this.
Hey yo, Bitcoin to the moon.
Nice, bro.
That's
Nice.
wild. Bitcoin broke 100K.
That's
Holy
not
shit.
great.
Too bad I don't have any.
I have like not much.
Yeah.
I forgot I had some in Coinbase, and I went and looked when it was like crossing like 70, and I was like, oh shit, there's like $3 grand in there. Hell, forgot about that. And I was like, I guess I'll leave it.
Well,
Yeah.
one of my techs bought it when it was like at 60, 70, but he bought like $3.50 of it. It's
Bro.
he like walks up to me and he's like, bro, I got $4.86.
Sick. I haven't
Like,
looked at my
god
Coinbase
damn, you buying lunch today or what, homie?
Hell yeah, he better. But you know we always hear the stories about people who bought either Bitcoin or Doge or had just like crazy, like Jacob Fuller Sundown. He had so many Doge.
He had
If he'd have
400
kept
million.
If he'd have kept them, it'd be over.
Yeah, he had 400 million. So if he would have kept it right now, it would be worth just under 200 million.
Yep.
No shit.
He sold it in 2019, right before the fucking. He said he wanted to buy some property he wanted to buy. I think it was for the Sundown building.
All right.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I mean he had a good reason to. It's not like
I
he
mean,
was
okay.
doing. It was just dead for.
And
Fucking
that's
4 years.
that's how it is. That's how it works.
You just got to get Daddy Elon to tweet it and it'll go right up.
That's right.
Well, now after Bitcoin broke 100, I don't see how the rest of them aren't going to follow. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. So Jeffrey, what's going on with the car, man? What have you been doing to it? For those who don't know, a lot of you do know Jeffrey Hall, Mobile Toys, tuner, sales guy, 23-time world champion in sound quality. I don't know. I made that number up, but it's probably accurate.
Nah. No.
It is probably accurate.
Dude, that's so stupid that TikTok made the Dolphin radio expensive.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
It's-
so dumb.
I got on because I don't get on it a whole lot, but I post videos of the wagon talking shit. I'm like, kicker's louder than your favorite brand, just because I know that's gonna get engagement, right? And I was scrolling. Someone said, "Yeah, but you ain't got a Dolphin radio." I said, the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would I have that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, I don't have that. You're right.
I don't remember which ones I had, but I definitely had a
Oh,
few
I
of
did
the
too.
different premieres that were fold
I
down.
had the Premiere that had I had the 800, the 880s. Those didn't do it, but I had one that folded down that had two knobs that stuck up. I remember that. I was like, man.
Yeah, I had the 880 and the 8800.
Yep.
And those were fucking cool. And then the 940 and the 9400.
I had
nicer, but not as cool as the 8400. But
remember the Blaupunk that you could well, more than one of them did it probably, but you just pull the whole thing out of the dash.
oh yeah, the pull-out radios.
Yeah,
I never had a pull-out, but my buddy Jason Hernandez did, and he every day, all the way through like 2 years of high school, would be carrying that fucking head unit around his hand all fucking day. And you know what's crazy is he would stick that thing in the dash, and that thing worked every fucking time. It never didn't work. And I was like, dude, I have had Nintendo cartridges.
Not
You
work.
know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's bound to be not working one day, and don't ask me to fix it when it doesn't work. And he's like, dude, somebody will break the window on my fucking Trans Am just to steal the stupid fucking radio.
Yeah.
You know?
They're not
And
getting it
with
today.
the faces that come off. I used to take that off and
Yeah, the detachable face. I used to take detachable face. I remember the commercials when the first detachable faces would come out, and they had like somebody at the airport, and the people, airport security, were all freaking out about it. They're like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, fucking back in the day, dude. I wish I got all that stuff. You know, there's gonna be piles of it somewhere in some. There has to be.
Dude, I've had two customers. One guy in particular, he's like a sound quality guy. He's this Mini Cooper, and he comes up. He's got these fucking badass custom A-pillars, and he uses these fancy fucking high-end speakers, and he's got all these old Zapco amps. And he is like, bro, these things are awesome. And he's like, dude, I had all of them tested. They all work. And I'm all, did you watch them all work? And he's like, no. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to pay us to hook all of them up and test all of them.
You're going to stand here.
They all work, and you're going to stand here and watch while we do it. And of his 5 amps, 3 of them worked, and one of the 3 that was working made a bunch of fucked up noises when you fucking adjusted the fucking the crossover pot. So I was like, there it is, it's on, it's working. And I started bringing the gain up and down, and I'm like showing him. First amp, I was like, cool, this one's good. Second amp, nothing. Like it powered up. The lights came on, but not a fucking peep. The sound came out of it. I'm like, you saw it powered up? And he's like, no, but the guy said it did. They just powered it up? He's like, yeah. You got to like make sound out of it, bud. And he's like, fuck. Yeah, and then... So,
dude,
you guys remember I'm sure you do, the Chameleons? When those came out, they were
those were fucking sick.
They were sick.
Those were fucking badass. It looked like your detachable face had been taken off.
There were a few different like decks that came out that just kind of sweep, like everybody wanted. Like that was one of them. Before that, I remember the Nakamichi deck. That one was everybody wanted that. And then a Clarion. I think Clarion was like after the Chameleon. Everybody wanted a Clarion something. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but certain decks.
I remember this drug dealer dude. Drug dealer dude from Milpitas fucking was like, bro, I'm going, my shit's getting done right now. And I don't know how much money he was spending, but I'm guessing it was probably approaching 10K in his 4Runner. And he was like, all knock, dude. All Nakamichi, 100% every fee. And I'm like, they really it's only like the head units that are like their really fancy thing, and they're kind of weird. Like I'm like trying to describe it to him. He's like, no, dude, no, it's the fucking. And I'm like, all right,
dude. Didn't they make a sub that was very similar to the Eclipse Titanium?
Oh, I don't know about that. I had some Eclipse Titaniums though, and I fucking loved them, but I sold them motherfuckers on eBay for a lot of money. And I had to just take the money because I needed it. I was like, let me see if these will sell. And I fucking took my digital camera and took pictures of them in my truck. And I was like, been used in my truck for a little while. Fucking dual 4s. Like, It says titanium 15s,
Sold
nearly
same
perfect
day.
condition. Sold at the end of the auction for almost double what retail price of them was, which was I think it was $8.99 each. So I think I ended up with like fucking $3,700, and I needed
That's
that shit
crazy.
real bad at the time. So, and I bought some fucking earthquake fucking shit because I was thinking about being a dealer of earthquake. I fucking bought those things, and it was like, fuck.
Yeah, I made the mistake.
$3,500 worth of speakers sounded way better than $600 worth of speakers.
I can't find the subs I'm talking about. Yeah, I made the mistake of listing my DD 9000s way too low, not knowing what they were worth. I put them on eBay for $300 a piece, and they were gone in like 5 minutes. I was like, "Oh, I fucked up."
So that's the only like piece of equipment. Well, I got two. So I had a Sony Mobile ES, the big red one. Had 4-channel. That, and I had a DD95Z 18. Not the baby Z. That big. Dude, that thing was killer. Should have kept it.
I wish I would have kept it because they only made the 9000, just the 90. I had a 9015. They've only made them for a couple of years because it was like an attempt at SQL ish, and they were live. I mean,
DD has had a bunch of DD's had some really good sound and stuff over the years.
Speaking of DD, what's going on over there? I've heard some rumors that their things are not going very well over there, but I don't know. They could be wrong.
I mean,
anybody?
No, I mean, I talk to Jack like every week.
I know. One thing I know is that like every fucking batch of mids they order, they like make an update, which is like that's kind of cool. But then like if you're a stocking dealer, that kind of fucks you. All of a sudden, your shit in stock is suddenly outdated. That's you know what I mean, and that was a little bit of a problem for some of the dealers that I.
Well, look, Bobby, being a manufacturer now, I'll ask you since we're talking about this. Like, what do you feel like is the proper amount of time that a certain sub or a certain speaker, or whatever, should go before you put out a new version of it?
It depends on how many dealers are selling the product, right? Yeah. So with regards to like Gately Audio, I have a half a fucking dozen stocking dealers across the country. So and then I probably have 2 to 3 dozen that are jobbers, right? So if I have a half a dozen dealers that are keeping stock of Gately product, they have all of our mids, they have some of our boxes, they got a bunch of our subs, and they're selling the product regularly. I have a responsibility to, especially to those guys, to give them a realistic opportunity to sell out of their stock, or at least a large portion of it, before I go changing the product, right? So changing that particular, now adding more SKUs, that's fine, right? So with regards to DD, they have fucking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dealers. And if you know, like one of the issues that I had is they had these fucking badass bullet tweeters that we really like to use. But when we were trying to figure out which ones customer had ordered some, we're trying to order them. Well, we don't make those anymore. Those are just continued. So there's this one, and it's like a little bit more to you. And I'm like telling the customer, he's like, yeah, those don't fit the same though. I can't use those. I need these ones. And then it's like, hey, this. And then I'm like reaching out to another dealer and being like, hey, do you have those? And he's like, I do. And I'm like sending my wife across town to pick up, you know, some speakers just so we could ship them to a customer over here. And I'm like, fuck, man, that's kind of a pain in the ass. Now, I'm not like complaining about that, but that is something to pay attention to, and something that, you know, we've had a little bit of an issue with the product.
That was definitely, I know over the last year, they've made a bunch of maybe 2 years, a bunch of large changes back to what they were doing like pre-COVID. Like they you know, they did a bunch of stuff like with the Red Line series and tried this and tried that. And some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. So they're going back to more made here, and everything's more premium, basically.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered,
So, John, with regards to audio dynamic stuff, I can tell you that I worked with Audio Dynamics. I was kind of like California product representative, person for a little over a year.
I think he's talking about their new products that they were announced today.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what new products that he released today, but what I can tell you about Audio Dynamics is the owner, Aaron White, is a really smart dude that works really, really hard and tests the shit out of everything before he brings it to market at all. He's not bullshitting. He's a smart dude, and he makes really nice stuff. And he's put forth a lot of effort to make sure that the products that he's creating are good. They also have a really good dealer program. So as a dealer, you can make really good margins on the product, and he doesn't undercut you. That's one of the big things about some of the companies that sell direct to public, is that, they'll undercut the shit out of their dealers all over the place. And that's not something that Audio Dynamics does at all. So,
hey, Steve,
we still sell and install some of their product. We just did an all Audio Dynamics build last
I'm
month.
gonna find the new stuff.
So, but yeah. What's the new stuff?
Apparently, it's more high end than anything they've had before. Audio Dynamics, designed by some guy who's friends with the guy who made the Clipple or something. I don't know. Kind of what I gathered. Oh yeah, Vault Marketing posted it. There we go. Let me present, share screen. There we go. Share. So right here, new Audio Dynamics Master Series.
Yes.
World class sound quality with industry leading performance. To achieve this, we teamed up with a U.S. speaker engineer who is a quote master. All right. He has several patents and has designed world class speakers for the past 30 years. He personally knows the developer of the industry standard speaker test equipment, Wolfgang Klippel. That's cool. Blah, 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 blah. We gave him free reign. YOLO. All right. That's a nice looking tweeter. Ooh.
Those are sexy.
That's a 10. Ooh. Woofer. That's cool. That looks like the stereo integrity pattern.
Say what?
That looks like the stereo integrity grill pattern. I don't know where.
I mean, it's a series of circles in an array. I don't know.
Oh,
there's that. I come on.
It kind of looks like C7 too, a little bit. How do I have none of these grills in here? Oh, well. Anyway.
They look nice. How much are they?
I don't know about that. It just says contact Vault Marketing.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I think the Vault guys might be doing a little direct to customer thing themselves, which might be a big fuck up on their part. But I'm not 100% sure of that. So here's the thing, Stephen James. When we talk about internal volume of my boxes, a lot of times that doesn't exactly pertain with the way that these things function, the way that they're loading in this downfire configuration, the way the ports are loading. It's pretty small. It's about 1.2, 1.3 total for the 4 woofers. But part of why we don't bother listing that information is because a lot of guys think that their box design software is worth a fuck, and it's not. And what they should do regarding these kind of things, if they're like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what subs work best in this enclosure that I'm thinking about, they should ask the manufacturer, hey, what subs will work best in this box? Well, one, I engineered my subs and these boxes on purpose to work together really well. And we have 3 different levels of 6.5-inch subwoofers that fit that box. All of them work real good. So how much power are you planning to run? Other woofers that have worked well, the the Sundown U series do pretty well, but I actually think they like a little bigger box than what all of our 6.5s like to be in. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not fantastic for this application because we're trying to squeeze these things into the most nat's ass size of a box.
I tell you, most consumers would be mind blown by the things that, like, even guys like Jeffrey are doing in his S-Cube vehicle, like the things that work in real life the best.
Look like absolute shit in their fucking software. They're like, oh, there's no way. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Let me show you, dude. Like, listen to this motherfucker. Tell me how the fuck I'm wrong.
And like, if you plot out the Tahoe, like how about the Tahoe in a calculator, it says I've got 18 dB of peak at 47 hertz or something goofy.
Right.
And I don't.
You mean to tell me that the internet isn't always right, Drew?
Sometimes.
No, the internet's not always right, and if you are lucky and you have an incredible understanding of what's happening inside of a subwoofer and a speaker box, and you're kind of lucky, your box design software is going to give you a good start.
All right, so got price. It's on the website. The tweeters are $2.99 a piece.
Wild.
It's all right. I think that's it. I assume that's a piece. Let's go look.
I think he's usually a pair.
No, it's probably a pair, Drew.
I'm pretty sure it's a pair because Aaron and I have had this conversation. So unless Aaron got talked out of it, him and I have always discussed it being a pair. But
I mean, the picture is a pair, the first of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it says, oh no, it's pair.
Yeah, the box.
Yeah, me and him discussed. Now, if you called him up and you wanted one, he'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like he's he's done
that,
but it's
This pricing's good then, because like I was like, when you do like if this is $5.99 a piece, that's C7. Like I don't know, C7's good.
So Pete is absolutely fucking brilliant.
They look beautiful.
Being said,
is that a Neo? Are those both Neos?
Looks like it.
Pretty sure most of those are Neo stuff other than the sub. So Pete from Audio Dynamics, Hexabase, he is absolutely brilliant. And he comes up with some really incredible enclosure stuff. And
he's a very, very smart guy.
A lot of it performs very, very well. But
the problem
that being said, I probably built more Peter Kluge design boxes than anybody, especially between 2017 and like 2019. I built shitloads of them. And many of them were fucking spectacular. Like, this is fucking awesome. And there were a few where it was like, hey, Pete, I compared this to like a regular ported box and I'm not getting quite as good of results. He would study all of my feedback and be like, are you okay with building another one? And I'd be like, yeah, we're both going to learn something. Yep. And he would, based on my information and my feedback, he would give me a new design. And I've had it where I because when I build something fucking weird, I have to have a reference, right? Let's just kind of take a little rewind. I see these guys like the fucking Paraflex, blah, 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 blah guys. And I see them and they're like, I built this thing and it graphs like this and it's this fucking blah and it's amazing. And I'm like, what did you compare it to? And they're like, well, when I compared it in the software to that, and I'm like, no. Where's your fucking data? Where is your data that you collected from it compared to your software data? And where is your data that you collected from a good old-fashioned ported fucking box that you compared your funky fucking big ass nightmare to fucking build shit? And they're like, oh, I don't have that. And I'm like, cool. None of you guys ever fucking do. So, and every time I've ever heard one of those, I'm like, that thing is fucking garbage. I'm yet to be like, dude, that's doing good. I've always been like,
you want to know? I heard one that wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was
okay.
It was 4, 5 somethings on not a lot of power. I think Josh Skipper had bought it from somebody.
Okay,
and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Any other wall would have outperformed it, but it is what it is.
Right. So Barnaby had a really cool one that he built with 2 B&C 15s, I think.
I remember that.
And it was pretty fucking loud above like 42 hertz.
Yep. Then that's what you get
And
with
then
like
it didn't do
orders and the
anything
weird shit
else. Like, no. So anyway, now back to the Pete from Audio Dynamics. So I built his box and I was like, okay, cool. I got a single 12 ported box over here. I can compare to this one, similar sub, similar power, and go, hey, this is doing better. Just a regular ported box is a little better. He's like, are you okay with building another one? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll build another one. That's what I do, and we're all going to learn. And he designed me a new box, and it did quite a bit better. And it was noticeably better than my reference box. And I was super pleased. And, you know, we all made note of that. I also had where per my description of what we wanted to put in the customer's truck, Pete's a pretty strange guy. He didn't interject what his opinion was. And he was like, and I was like, God, man, these 410s in this truck are doing like, okay. Outside the truck, it like hammers, but in the truck, it's like, okay, but like, that's not what our goal is outside the truck. We're trying to, you know, and because I'm listening to it when we brought this thing to life and it's pounding like crazy. And then we go and get in the truck and I'm like, that doesn't seem that amazing in here, you know? And
Well, you'll have that.
I report that back to Pete and he's like, oh, well, you know,
Hey,
it'd probably be 7 dBs louder with just 2 of them. And I'm like, damn, Pete, I wish you would have said that before I built all this shit. And he's like, well, you didn't ask me what I thought. I'm like, in the future, I always will. And if you think of anything, let me know. I'm like, you know, and so, you know, he designed the new box. The next day, I built a whole new fucking box with 2, and it was exponentially better than the 4 were. And we all thought it was fucking hysterical. But you know, I built the box twice. I'm okay with that shit. So, not every single design he does is a fucking home run, but most of them are, and he's really good. And I learned a ton of shit about what's happening inside of a sub box from Pete.
That's so like I'm sure some people still say it, but I used to hear it more often that I do a lot of the same layouts with my designing. You know, I was 1-on-1. I design a lot of fucking boxes, like way more than people think. Like way more. And I'm not playing with someone else's money to try something. I'm just not doing it. Unless it's like Bobby or someone who I know is going to build this themselves. They are capable of building it and then rebuilding it if it sucks. And they say, I want to try something weird. Then.
Now, a lot of times with Pete, he already knows, you know, I was literally, you know, employed, you know, part-time by Audio Dynamics, all the way on the team. So it was okay for Pete to throw some wild shit at me and have me build some crazy shit and see what it did. I didn't mind building it a few times. So, yeah.
Yes.
That, I don't know if you guys noticed, we posted a 13W7 box that we did that I engineered as a 6th order bass reflex because the customer wanted super duper low bass extension and of all the enclosures that I've ever heard with like a relatively low power single sub, 2 sub, low power setup, those bass reflex 6th orders that Pete would design for us did them very, very well. And so knowing that this customer was like trying to play 24, 26 hertz, driving around in his car with his single sub on 1200 watts.
You got a picture of it?
You know, it's on our.
While he looks for that, speaking of companies who don't change product, W7. W7 has been the same sub since '93, baby.
Also, on that note, ask me how many 13 Dub 7s I've sold in the past 6 weeks.
How many?
22.
No, way too much.
Right.
Actually,
I've sold 3. I've sold 3 in the last 3 weeks, and I've sold 6 12W7s in the last 4 weeks.
I think I'm at 12, 13 Dub 7s in the past 6 weeks.
Is that a lot or is that a little?
It's. I mean, they're $2,000 subs, but yes, that's a good
I
amount.
mean, you got people slanging $1,500 SPL subs like they're fucking going out of style over here. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
but no, we did 2 13 Dub 7s and a really pimp looking install. We just delivered it before I came home for dinner. And we did a single 13 and a SQ build a couple days ago. He wanted to do 2 13s, but I talked him out of it.
What do you guys sell the most of?
Says the guy with two W7s.
Yes. What do I sell the most of?
Yeah, subwise. Like, I mean, what are you guys mostly putting in the truck boxes and stuff? Or is it just
Freaking
vary?
metric tons of TW3s and TW5s.
Okay.
Like, we probably are in the at least hundreds per month.
Hang on, buddy. Go back.
You want it back?
Yeah, I want you to go over the enclosure a little bit. What makes it a base reflex 6? Because
So it's got an
internal
internal chamber that ports into another chamber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
So
series.
without knowing, you would just think it's a ported enclosure, but it's obviously not.
Yeah.
So it's big. How to do? It's getting
It does
out.
very well. It's really good. Yeah,
That's dope.
it's great.
Awesome.
It's one of my favorite things about these is they're also super punchy kick drum bass. Boom, boom, boom. They do that very, very well, and then they have really good low bass extension. And
So is it like when you design something like that? Obviously, you hear in the SPL world ratios and blah blah blah, but like
that's
what?
where that like the ratio thing doesn't really. And one of the things that's kind of crazy is that internal port has it's like 6.4 inches of port area or some shit like that, or per cubic foot. So it's fucking got port velocity issues inside that box, but it doesn't fucking matter because that port is inside the box.
All base head 6 orders have massive
horrific port velocity.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Hell, actually, most popular demo vehicles that go for wind, if I sent that design to somebody with a plot of the port velocity, they would sue me. You would try to sue me because you're like, bro, what do you mean is 1,000 meters per second? Bro, you said you want to play 19.
The Solgasm isn't quite that tight. Like I actually have considered reducing that inner port area on the Solgasm, but right now I don't need to because it's relatively efficient because of that. So, but when I give it more power, I'm going to need more control, and I'm going to want to tighten up that port in the back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I would have. I mean, there's still time. I can, but I don't have a build to fuck around with it. But mess around with fixed orders more because they obviously are interesting. Like with what Ray did, like he was just messing around with stuff that shouldn't work, and it just kept working.
Well, like Well, I mean, here's the thing: is Ray's build did really well initially. He had this big ass front port. And he had 2 8-inch internal ports, and it was doing well. But he was like, "Let me try something," and he like pulled one port out and blocked off one, and it was like, "Wow, that's better." and then he's like, "Let me replace these 2 8s with 2 6s, even better than just the single 8." And then
I just had a thought. So what if all he was doing was reducing the rear wave interference with the front, and if he'd have just sealed it off, it would have got even better.
Just made it a 4th order.
Yeah, but it was playing lower frequencies better. It was making it more windy. But really, what it comes to, and like me and Ray have had this conversation. You're like, pretty soon, what this thing is just a leaky 4th.
Yep.
And it just because it's a leaky 4th, it has this crazy ass bandwidth. Because when you start to dig real fucking low, this thing is a 6th order, and and it has a bunch of rise, and it has appropriate control of those woofers. And when you go into higher frequencies, it's a leaky fourth, so it's a fourth, and it's because and so you have this wild ass bandwidth. The fucking Soulgasm, you'll play down to fucking 14 hertz, or it'll fucking rip your eyelids out of your face. 84 if you want. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't have a flop anywhere in the middle of it, you know. So, and there are some vehicles like that, and Ray's truck was like that. Now, if he was looking for a little bit higher numbers, you know, he was pretty content with it, doing like a 62, 63 on fucking music. And it was pretty fucking badass as it was. And it would play super low frequencies. And it was a great demo rig. So if he was looking for higher numbers, he would have either left at a flat wall where he was doing mid 60s, or he would have done a fourth order and been in the neighborhood of that, or maybe even better if he worked towards it the way he did. But yeah.
What's going on with the Guillotine? Anything new, or I haven't?
We're building the new super duper subwoofers for it.
I figured. So is that going to be at the showdown?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have the Raiden here as well, and we're gonna put all the Gately amps in the Raiden, and there's a good chance he'll get all the super subs in the Raiden as well.
Oh shit!
So yeah, the idea for the Raiden is to put 12 of the big fucking super duper woofers in it, and run 6 15Ks.
So he's got 12. Wait, how many subs are in the Guillotine?
And the Guillotine's 9 18s.
And then so he's gonna have, so out of the subs you're building, he's taking 21 of them. I love Jim. Jim's the fucking best.
I fucking love Jim.
That's so awesome.
And Mikey, you gotta get out of here, Jeff.
Run the fucking card. Just run it.
No, we gotta have lots of talks about things before we pull that trigger.
I'm sure, but
yeah.
he's willing to pull the trigger.
He's like, if you fucking change them all and you make them a little bit different and they're fucking better, you're not gonna make me buy them again. I'm all, no, I'll trade them all out and give you the fucking newer version if I fucking make them better again. So yeah. What's up, Jeff?
I had a question for the box design pros that there's at least one of in this chat, probably 3. Sealed box with a ported chamber between left and right.
Oh, I know what you're. I'm gonna mute the mic. Go back to my grind.
Like
I'm gonna let Bobby ponder on this one.
You mean like a box brace that's not quite.
So you have two subwoofers in a, let's just say, I'm just making up numbers here, so don't put it too much weight into it. A 5 cubic foot enclosure. Internal, after displacements, blah blah blah. It is braced in the center, and it's 2 separate chambers. Now, between those 2 separate chambers with the 2 separate woofers, there is a port of whichever design, whether if it's an arrow port, a square slot, whatever you prefer to do. This particular one I'm thinking of is actually an arrow port design. What do you guys think happens in that
chambers? The chambers are identical volume.
Yes.
Nothing fucking happens.
Yeah, I'd say nothing.
It doesn't do shit. Now, if you lost the connection to one of those fucking subs, you suddenly have a passive radio. It's a 6th order. It's like it's a base reflex 6th order. If suddenly one of them is a passive radiator.
Are they both getting the same signal from the same amp, same channel?
They can, or they can have separate amplifiers, but even if they
as
have
long as
separate
the signal is identical, you're good. But if you don't have identical signal, unless of course
I bet, Jeff, it would do the exact same thing as if you took the wall in the middle away completely with a port or no wall. Yeah. When you have them separated and then not separated, there probably is a difference. But if
I bet you can't measure. I bet you can't measure a difference. I know there is a difference. There's for sure a difference, but you wouldn't be able to measure a difference.
Well, just like you could put 2 subs in a smaller sealed box, right?
So tell us why you're asking the question, Jeff.
I bet it plays a little bit lower.
So I haven't physically tested it. I've been told by someone that I trust very, very explicitly on some things Although I do mention that he has some voodoo sometimes.
Sometimes.
This is one of the things that I'm on the fence of if it's voodoo or not. He claims that from a standard sealed box with, let's just say, a big, nice, strong open window brace, just typical big window brace type things. He says that if I were to take the sealed box that's in the back of my car with my two 12-7s, very slightly asymmetric brace placement, but that's irrelevant. He says that if I were to seal it up and then put a slot port or not a slot port, but a arrow port of a varying size that he would determine, that my low end extension would greatly increase.
So the only way to know is to
I would
actually
think it
test
would
that.
play
Now,
well.
what I can tell you is one thing that really is a factor, and we've talked a little bit about this on the show. Now, there's two things that I refer to as coupling. Coupling happens sometimes with like the front wave of a driver and the port, like on the JLHO boxes or some of the boxes that I make for like the kicker subs or our Camaro Perfect Fit box. So, but this is different coupling. When you start to share internal chambers of the box. And the first term that was described to me by a sound engineer guy that was a JBL guy was talking about how, like, in the 80s, these guys at JBL figured out that they get as much as 10% efficiency when they start doubling up the woofers and sharing the chambers with the drivers. And this is on like PA speakers and shit that they kind of figured this out. And it was a balance of, is it going to be more efficient or can we make it smaller and have the same results? Now, in my case, like why my 6.5 fucking underseat truck boxes perform as well as they do is coupling. Because if you fucking go, all right, this thing is like 1.7 cubic feet after displacement, that's like a not very much volume per sub for these 6 woofers. But because there's fucking 6 of them, they are actively sharing that space a little bit more efficiently than one sub in the one little tiny version of it, which would perform like shit, by the way. So you can't just divide it by 6 and
Jeff,
make it
is your box
fucking same, right?
Is your
But
box? Go ahead, Molly.
So with regards to this, if it was 2 sealed chambers and then you suddenly pop that hole in there, you might get significantly more efficient, especially if you were already on the small side of the 2 chambers, right?
Jeff, is your box completely sealed right now? Like 2 chambers, or is it 1 chamber?
It's 1 chamber.
So it's 1 chamber. I was actually just gonna send a picture of it to Drew if he can share it.
I would say in your case, you would gain nothing. You probably would lose a little bit of low end, I would think. If it was 2 sealed chambers and you did that, then
that coupling would happen and you might gain a little bit of low base extension because it's effectively bigger, maybe even like 10% effective efficiency bigger if they were already leaning on the small end, right? And then on the other end of that is, let's say hypothetically you had the 2 sealed chambers and they were a little bit on the big side. Now they're sharing these 2 a little bit extra big boxes. It might totally be too fucking big and shit the bed, or it sounds a little warm and fuzzy, but it's not nearly louder. It has better low bass extension, but not any louder, right? And you're at risk of damaging woofers, or it might even sound like a sloppy fucking mess of shit, like many subs do when they're in a enormously large sealed box.
Yeah, let me. It might. I'm gonna go to Messenger and send Drew a picture of the inside of my box. Hang on. Bear back.
Yeah, I mean that, and just logically, that all totally makes sense. If it was 2 sealed chambers and you opened it up in the middle, they are going to be sharing a bigger space. Each woofer is going to be in a bigger space, even though they're together. It's still going to perform like a bigger box. So,
right
now, but I think if he were to,
mind you, if somebody
do that and then do that, I think he would lose.
I think you're. I pretty much agree exactly with you, Steve. If it did anything that you could measure at all, it would likely lose. But I don't know, because I never tested that exact shit. Now, if somebody who he's describing sounds like somebody that fucking actually works at this shit for reals, like we do, has done a test and was like, "Hey, dude, I've done this, and I've done it a half a dozen times, and it's had a success rate." Then at that point, I don't just run with it and say, "Yeah, it's gonna fucking work." Then I have to test it on my end and confirm whether that's a real reality or not.
It almost is like, I mean, if the subs are going to be doing the exact same thing, there's no way it's going to do anything. Like it shouldn't do anything unless you got some sort of discrepancies in the subs. I just don't. Besides it making the box bigger, it will make it bigger to the
Jet subs do not play the same signal. There is a difference because they're on independent amps and independent DSP channels, and they are timed. I mean, when I say this difference is small, I mean it's two whatever size subs right next to each other in the back, but they are tuned, ever so slightly different.
Obviously, if you did something like that, you would notice some sort of change because you got your subs doing different things, like different.
Well, they're still sharing the chamber though, Steve. They're not in separate chambers. So right now they're sharing the chamber still. So I would say, if you this one is playing this a little bit of right signal and that one's a little bit of left signal, and then you pop the hole in there, shit's gonna get a little bit weird, and it might do some magical somehow. It sounds better. I fucking doubt it. But if we're talking about, so Drew, the signals are intended to be the same as much as humanly possible, correct? No, those two subs are on purpose different.
Yep, because it's. I mean, when I say it is most, he can confirm whether I'm right or wrong. But there he is, Jeff. Your two rear subs, they are tuned ever so slightly differently, right?
In the SQ setting, yes. In the SPL setting, I match it.
I see. So
but
when you start having, I got this one doing a little bit of different from that one. Now all of that shit gets really wild, and maybe you should separate the two. And maybe you should separate them and have a port between them, because now once the signal is slightly different, shit gets weird, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I sent the photos to Drew if he can show it. Like basically, it's just the inside of my box. It's nothing special, but he's basically saying if I seal up those holes in my braces, and then I add
then you put a specific port, and then maybe you start doing some wild stuff with your tuning and you're adjusting and you find some magical, just so.
So here's a question, and you may already know the answer. What's the area of these openings?
Oh, I do not know that answer.
Is it less than the woofers? Looks like it.
Probably.
So you could have some of that effect already occurring because this is a smaller area than the woofers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of acting as like a kind of a.
That's a pretty big openings.
Nah, it's a pretty big openings. I would say that they're effectively not doing anything of that nature. But if you plugged up a few of those, you would be.
What's that inside your box there? What's that, bud?
You can see it on the next picture.
Is that carpet? So you have carpet inside your speaker box.
Yeah, no, it's just in case I get stuck somewhere, I can pop a sub out and I got pillows.
Fair.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard for you to test it. Just cut a couple pieces of wood to put over top of those, and you'd see.
Oh no, it is. Oh, hey Jeff, how long would it take to get your car that far apart?
No, that's not okay. Not that part. As far as sealing that up, it'd be pretty easy. You already have that big brace in there.
If you said, "Hey Jeffrey, you've got nothing to do tomorrow," that's the Denali that we just built. If you said, "Hey Jeffrey, you've got nothing to do tomorrow, test your sub box for me,"
no,
I would probably be able to finally seal up the holes after about 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah. So don't blow a sub at a show is what you're saying.
I mean, after I'm done competing, I send those things. The people have seen me. I'm like, I'm giving it Dulce's gold captain.
Speaking of competing at the showdown this year, we got quite a lot of SQ stuff going on. They got like 35 plus cars last year, and Richard wants to try to double it. somehow, or at least get quite a bit more. We've got like 3 or 4 different SQ orgs now.
Yeah.
It's Showdown. So come on out, Jeffrey. Make the trip, dude. Come on out. It's not that
I
far.
mean, I'm gonna be in Las Vegas here in a couple.
The car's going to be out there.
Yeah, the car
for
the
Knowledge
car's gonna
Fest?
be in Knowledge Fest Las Vegas.
Well, when is that?
Oh, January-ish, sometime. Probably
If
not.
you
What?
want if you want to leave it in my house for a month and a half, you're more than welcome. But the Showdown's in March, so I mean, yeah, kind of far apart. But
Yeah, no. I'm definitely excited to have it out there. JL's bringing it in their booth, so be pretty cool. But
Very cool.
and Bobby,
What's happening in February, bud?
in February? I don't remember what's happening in February, Drew.
yeah, we had 26 this year. Read that.
Florida.
Oh yeah, Florida. Yeah, that's right. So after that, after Knowledge Fest in January, I'm heading to Florida to put up a total tuning booth at the convention deal that they're doing. There's like a money round down there, and
Florida Hi-Fi Expo. First time there's ever been cars at the Florida Hi-Fi Expo. Invitation only money round.
yep. So Drew knows more about it than I do. I'm just going to show up and go listen to the car.
That's all I know. I know that I was told I could go. I know I was told I could compete. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go compete.
Yeah, and I got 3 vehicles in my booth. One of them is going to be a Mazda. One of them was probably going to be a Duramax, and then one of them is going to be a Tesla.
That's a lot of jail audio, bud.
But and unrelated to all that, Bobby, you need to come out to Aggieland this year. No excuses.
Dude, I'm saying
I should be able to do that. I think last time we had like fucking same event that I had to, like, I was like, I fucking can't, like, I couldn't. But what are the dates?
It's December now. You got 4.5 months.
What are the dates? What are the dates?
Oh, let me pull it up.
April 9th and 10th, I think.
11th through the 13th. 11th through 13th. So you need to show up. There's going to be some really cool things. There's a whole freaking tuner challenge. There's a demo contest.
I forgot I'm in the tuner challenge and the demo contest.
Yeah, so am I. There's a demo contest, and supposedly Drew's wagon is in the sound quality demo contest.
When is Aggieland again?
It's the 11th, 12th, and 13th of April.
In College Station.
So
the 160 SQ. That's the class we need.
Yeah.
So how well does it sound? I mean, you're putting SQ judges in the fucking 160 cars, and they're all mad. The caviar's flying all over the place. And fucking,
I have a MVI.
the fucking panties are just like fucking G-string is all up by their fucking hip and shit.
Yep. I have a MVI 808. I'm gonna put in the wagon because the wagon has mid ranges and tweeters in the pillars. We just haven't used them. So I'm gonna go full active on every speaker in the wagon, and I'm gonna dial it in good as I can, and then I'm gonna hit them with the sauce.
Yeah. So, but there's gonna be some cars that I can't talk about publicly that y'all are gonna want to see.
For those who can attend, SQ cars are known for being quiet. Most of them are. Just how it is.
Some of them aren't.
Jeffrey's isn't.
Some of them fucking jam.
Oh, guess whose won't be soon, bud? Mine. I got so I'm swapping out my 1001 for 1005, putting the fifth channel in the front sub, and then I'm bridging mid ranges and adding rears. It's gonna be a good time.
Bridge and mid ranges. Who does that?
Bridging mid ranges.
I
bud.
do. You fucking told me to.
That says he does it.
He's like, I'm working. He's like, you're gonna want to start like putting another one of those 808s in there and bridging everything. Everything. He's like, not the tweeters. I'm like, I would have, but yeah, I have 3 808s in my F-150. and everything but the
Steven,
tweeters is fucking
there ain't no
British.
Grey Poupon at
Motherfucker.
Aggieland.
Sometimes
You get
I'm
beer
rocking
barbecue.
out if I'm listening to some metal or something, and I'll be like fucking fucking screaming and shit, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's mids. I smell mids.
Yeah.
I gotta turn that down. I'm cooking mids a little bit. I'm like, I ain't blown them up yet. That's like,
I mean,
yeah.
look, I just personally believe that 75 watts on most mid ranges, man, I just need
That
a
ain't
little bit
enough,
more.
baby. But let me tell you something. These right here sound
Gang,
really,
gang.
really, really fucking good. They
What
really do.
Are those your tweeters?
And they are super fucking duper durable. Now they roll off a little early, so like you ain't getting a ton of points in your fucking SQ comp, but they sound fucking fantastic up to about 14K. But yeah,
I mean, my car, I purposely make a roll off right around there in my car, so
okay.
I'm not mad at that.
Most
And
judges can't hear that high anyway. So.
yeah, like literally most judges. I don't know if you know this, but the median age of judges is above 50.
Oh. So Jerry has a SPL build with two 808s. That's the way. That's what I'm doing in the Tahoe is 808 per A pillar.
Yeah.
And then a dedicated tweak for the subs.
Man, I still need to tune something stupid. Someone give me a bunch of pro audio with a bunch of friggin' channels and let me do some things.
Jerry has two 808s.
Come and tune my. I've got let me see, 4, 8, 12. I don't know why I always got to count. I'm retarded. I got 28 mids and 20 tweeters.
Well,
Also,
he wants a channel per speaker.
come and tune it.
I mean,
so the Tahoe is probably going to be one of the first mid 60 vehicles that have that many channels in it. That are, yeah, probably.
I just want to start tuning them because like when I tune boats and like
Dude, tuning big stuff is so different.
When I tune boats and it's got like a gazillion speakers on it, it's super duper fun. Like sound quality cars are cool, and like everyone knows I do sound quality.
You
things,
can tune
right?
the wagon if you want.
I mean, yeah,
it'll be a channel per speaker, I think, because I'm going to ditch the rear doors when we do this.
I'll tell you what, Jeff. When are you going to be here in Vegas for Knowledge Fest? You already have your ticket booked?
I don't have the ticket book. It's still like brand new and not super.
Well, I guess if you're bringing the car, are you going to be driving?
No, JL shipping it.
The car is being shipped, and then I'm flying in.
Okay. Well, maybe if I can get the car back together, I'm going to take it apart after this weekend, and then replace a bunch of amps, do a bunch of shit, new head unit, the new LF knob thingy. So if you want to spend an afternoon and do some tuning, we could figure something out and get your hands on it.
I mean, I want to start tuning some loud stuff because I think it'll be it's cool.
Tuning loud stuff, especially tuning his is kind of like tuning a boat because like you don't close the doors and everything's kind of on the outside. But like tuning like Jerry's or like, I guess if Steve only closed the door, but
I mean, do have speakers on the inside.
Yeah, but I'm saying like close it, like door shut, windows up, like or even just door shut, windows down. It's so much energy from like the mid bases, mid range especially. You have to build crazy looking targets.
What I would like to do is to up the mid base portion of the build as far as like the impact. I don't know. There's some builds you hear and it's just like, man, the impact of the mid base. I know I have enough mids and power to do it, but what it
is because you have so many facing so many directions. So there is a point somewhere around the truck. I think it's by the driver door. I think it's where we kind of dialed it in. That is going to be where everything kind of aligns, and then everywhere else is going to suck or be not as good.
Also, unrelated to that, there's a tonal spectral balance thing that you can do to increase that, and it's not increase 80 hertz. It's actually a cut. So if you cut in the lower mid range, it greatly increases your impact.
Okay, what is the lower mid range?
Somewhere between 200 and 400 typically. There's a couple choice frequencies that I use, but somewhere in there.
I see. So you lower those and then it ends up making
it's
the other
not, and it's not a
it's
lot
it's a
either.
it's probably more a psychoacoustic thing than anything.
You
you're
hear it,
hearing
you
less
hear
of
it
it.
dry out. What it sounds like is it dries out the drums, kind of.
Sir, no drying out happening in my truck. Tell you that
I
right
mean,
now.
like logically, it would make sense to where if the frequencies that are the impactful frequencies are getting a little bit more signal, or the ones that are in that 200 to 400 range are getting a little less, that would just come through logically. But
So something to keep in mind is like octaves and harmonics. For instance, like if you wanted to put a whole bunch more energy into, let's just say a trumpet. So do you crank up the mid range? No, you actually do two boosts at an octave apart, like let's just say 750 and 1500. If you boost those up at a high Q and you just make two little mountain peaks, well, turns out you put a whole lot more energy into the trumpet and you maybe slightly change some tonal balance stuff, but you get all this giant jumps of energy, and it's like it makes it stand out, but it doesn't increase the whole thing and throw off the whole balance. So it kind of works in that way where if you cut a certain thing, it exaggerates two other areas that are an octave apart.
okay,
Tuning is
well,
hard.
yeah, I'm definitely would like to have you out here and have you mess around with it. Do that. I mean, I'll definitely learn how to use my JL program a little better from you too. I mean, I like messing with it, but there's so much on there that I'm sure I don't know anything about. How to use
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is, I mean, really, what I think shocks me is the speed that you can do it at. Like today, I tuned that Denali. It had an 808, 1005, and then two RD 1500s. But obviously, it's essentially one amplifier.
37 minutes with
No,
setup.
it was 13 minutes is how
Damn.
long it took me to do it, to tune it.
Damn.
Wild.
It was like I actually timed it on my I did a screen record on my computer. So, but you know it now obviously a lot of that's repetition of knowing exactly what I'm gonna do, and like when I tuned that we had a 43-foot Pursuit driven in from Florida, and we did a crazy butt build in it a couple weeks ago. It's a boat, by the way.
Man, it's that crazy butt.
The tune took me a while because I had to wrap my mind around what I was doing. It for me it was like a 50-minute long tune, which is a fucking eon for me. So, you know, I don't know that yours would be overly quick, Steve, but you know, I'm sure I'd figure it out pretty quick.
He's only got one 606, so that makes it. But you might be like, I'm fucking with this, and you go, oh, you know what? I liked the way I did this. Here, let me go back and do those ones similarly. You know.
Let me ask you this question now, and I'll cement it in my memory. My amp gains and crossovers and all that crap. Like, should I just keep all my gains at 0? Because most of my amps are going to be inaccessible once I put it back together. Like, I have to pull my seat out. I have to pull all the bass amps out. So
Talking about the mids and highs amps.
mids and highs amps. Yeah,
Go
just
like-
keep everything at 0 and then everything else open.
Do the
No.
mids and highs at like quarter, half, something.
Dude,
Crossovers
yeah,
off.
Yeah, I did half on them on the ones that are doing the roof, and there's just so much noise.
Yeah,
Quarter.
I
compared to the
don't do
doors.
half. I don't do half. You do if all the way down is 7 o'clock. I normally do 9 o'clock, 9:30 or so. And then if you need to gain match stuff, go ahead and do so. Like if it's bass amps or whatever. But because I actually lectured some of my installers about this, they're like, "Well, I'm just going to turn it to halfway." Like, no. Well, I'm just going to leave it all the way down. No. Well, what if I tune it to 11 o'clock? No. Stop. I'm telling you exactly where to put it. You put it at 9 o'clock to 9:30, just like right there. It's I can get it perfect every time.
917.
Okay,
Do what?
and then like as far as having all the mid and high amps, they don't necessarily need to be matched. Just as long as I get them all close to that 930.
Yeah.
No, because you're going to end up changing that anyway with level.
Yeah,
the
the
DSP.
matching is more for like sub bass that or sub amps that are sharing a common chamber. But You know, like basically, I'll just tell them like, hey, put all the gains at 9 o'clock, turn all the filters off, and if they can't be turned off, turn them all the way open. So your subsonic all the way down, your low pass filter all the way up on the bass amp. You know, just like give me all the signal. Well, I want to put it at 120. No, stop.
Nope,
Okay.
don't. You're causing phase issues.
Yeah,
All right,
the,
so
like,
yes.
you're,
So
you're,
when I
adding, you're adding.
before once I get it all installed, I'll put it all at 917.
Yeah,
and
917.
and then I will go from there. And then all the
Right.
crossovers.
Precisely 917, guys.
So
That's the number.
Real quick, if anyone watching has an F-150 and you want some bougie free headlights, go join this here group. And I know it sounds like a scam. It's not. This person has sent me free lights for marketing stuff, and other people I know have bought the lights and gotten their money back multiple times. So if you have this truck and you want some really good free headlights, go get them.
Why is he giving away for free?
They want reviews on Amazon. The best I can tell is this person works directly for the manufacturer in China because they're in China.
Ah,
So yeah,
they make it for Chevy, or they got Chevy taillights?
So
I do too.
currently, let's see what they got. What year is your truck?
09.
Actually, they do have some coming out for your truck.
Let's go.
What about
These-
my 15?
Sick. Do they make taillights too, or just fronts?
Not yet. They just do headlights.
All right.
And
What
like-
is this? Send me link. Send me location.
Yeah, I'll post a link in a second in the chat. But like, so these are what I have on the Tahoe and the Duramax now is from this company. And you're thinking, oh, Amazon lights, yeah, but they're $300 something, $400, so not cheap, but they're bright. No, they're solid, and they actually refund, which is like the craziest part. I thought it was a scam, so big, but I was like, you know what? You buy it on Amazon, you get your money back. But I ended up convincing them just to send me a set for free for pictures.
So that's what they want you to do is buy them and then they refund you.
Yeah, you buy them from Amazon, so you're buying them through Amazon, and then they refund
So
you
you're
half
protected.
immediately. Yeah, they refund you half immediately, and then once you leave a review, you get the other half back. And they're actually look, I got Tahoe ones right here. They're nice.
Nice. Do they make them for a 2001 Ford Explorer?
Did I
Sport?
just see? I looked like I saw one that was like my truck in there. Send me that link. Send it in our group when you send the link thing.
Okay. Oh yeah, Oh no, so that was someone else
It was
posted a picture looking for lights for 2015.
Oh, some bitch.
Yeah, not yet. Currently, the GM stuff is just like this. It's just super common.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, the fucking headlights on my truck are also super duper duper common. They just haven't got that far yet.
And actually, I could,
Send the link anyway. I'll look. Maybe I'll send them a message and be like, "Hey, man, make this shit, motherfuckers."
let me turn this light
All right.
on. I can know what I'm
I
talking
was
about.
gonna say we've got almost 2 hours. I got to get some grub.
Yeah, I'm fucking dying. I need to go to sleep.
There we go. Fucking bright.
Taking a nap. I've been up since 4 a.m. That's what I do.
On the
Yeah.
wall.
I'm about to play some poker.
There's that cutoff.
Bro.
And
So
you can't see it,
yesterday,
so bright.
so my buddy runs the World Poker Tour,
That's cool.
and they're having their big World Poker Tour Championship in Vegas, the 8th through the 22nd at the Wynn, and they're doing a $5 million free roll. But the only way to get in is you have to either get lucky and draw a ticket on Sunday, which I'm going to try to do, or you got to win a ticket, which I'm playing the poker tournament tonight. I played one last night. There was 1,100 people. Top 15 got tickets, and this motherfucker came in 19th.
Damn.
Damn it,
You're
dude.
like, I'm right fucking there, motherfucker.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know if you guys know poker much at all, but towards the end of the tournament, the blinds keep going up, what you have to put in to play, right? And at this point, I had 8 big blinds, which anytime you get under 10, you're almost in shove mode if you have any good cards. And so I got dealt a really good hand, king, queen of diamonds, and so I shoved. And the fucking big blind, who already had 16,000 in there, called the rest, which was another 140,000.
Bro,
With ace 9 offsuit, and happened to make quad aces on me, 4 aces. So I just,
Oh no.
See,
So
this is bullshit. This is bullshit.
You're
what
like,
you've
bro,
done with me.
I have way better fucking cards. You're a dick.
yeah.
So,
So it is
while
what it
Steve
is.
was telling his story, I get a message in a business chat. Someone out here out kickering Drew Jones. I'm
Was it
like,
me?
man. No, hold on,
It's
now it's
me.
not popping up. Hold on, it is you. Share screen.
That's funny.
It's
There
Steve.
It's Steve.
Yeah, this video's
like,
been
bro.
making its rounds.
I'm on.
The reel on my page has like 1.5 million views or some shit, and then I keep getting messages from different pages that have shared it. It's like, who's that? Who did it say shared it?
Kicker India.
How many? That's dope. It's
Yeah,
not even
like-
that good of a video either. All the videos I think are the best ones. Nobody fucking watches.
Never,
I know.
never. It's always the
Like-
shit.
Dude, I was just looking at our Instagram page, and there was this really killer video of the Soulgasm, and like they kind of zoom in, and the chick's like actively getting a hair trick, and she's like, "Oh shit!" She's kind of scared of it, and like I turned it down. I'm talking, and I'm like, "God, that was a great video." And it's like there's like only 1,000 likes on it, whereas like other shit has 15,000 and 20. And I'm like, that video sucks. It's just some of it's timing, just when you drop the fucking video, you know. But
Yeah, well, some videos just always do good. Like you could, I'm sure there's a couple you could post any time of the day and it would just kill.
Yeah.
Like
any of the acrylic boxes, we drop
exactly.
the video and they just keep going. Like they just keep going. There's like every few weeks somebody's like, that can't work. That's gonna flex. There's not enough space for those subs. It's not enough volume.
You're like, yeah, uh-huh.
Bobby, you've never built a sub box. You have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's not gonna work. You need to be wearing a respirator. You need to wear a respirator.
I'm not wearing shit, bud.
Like, bro.
Where's the video?
Fuck
All right,
you.
and then just
Here it is.
Bobby say it.
You guys, keep doing what Drew does. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I fucking love you guys. The rest of y'all, go fix your fucking engine noise. Be nice to people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week.
All
I'm
right,
out.
see you guys.
gonna let
Okay,
people
love
watch
you.
this.
Bye.
This video always does good. This upload's got 200,000 views. I just
All right.
upload this whenever people talk shit about Kicker.
I said I was gonna be on for like 20 minutes.
You did that to yourself. Oh, you said 15, 20 minutes or when you kicked me off. And I was like, bud, no need for that.
I got stuff to do. I got things I gotta clean. Like house gotta be clean.
Hey, people have questions, sir. Have you ever tuned an F-150?
At least one per day for the past 3 years.
Well, I mean, since you're already here, I have some. Why don't you try to answer these questions that I asked the doctor lady on Kicker last night?
The doctor lady. On
Yeah,
Kicker.
Dr. Elizabeth something from the University of Oklahoma. How do low frequency sounds or intense bass stimulate the fight or flight response? And what are the mechanisms behind the associated release of adrenaline and dopamine?
Man, that's a high level ass question.
Oh, here's another one. This is the other one. The first one I asked, how does the brain integrate low frequency sounds with tactile and vestibular sensations and distinguish between hearing and feeling them?
Man, tell me AI's been asking them questions.
AI has not been asking them questions. I knew exactly what I wanted to ask. And I did look up like the technical terms to make sure I was asking it correctly. But because like you don't just hear low end, right?
Yeah.
You feel it. And like you feel it in your body, you can hear that, whether it's noticeable or not. So, I wanted to know. And basically, she ended up saying, "Yeah, you can feel it, blah blah blah." And then she started explaining how you can localize subwoofers in a car, and like she was explaining very advanced SQ stuff. Like this is how we hear these frequencies, and this is how we hear these frequencies. I was like, "Ooh, she's on that good. She needs to shut up."
Yeah. No, you just bolt your enclosures down and tune them right. You'll be all right.
That's right.
That's the short version. You don't bolt your enclosure down, and your low frequency isn't going to be as good.
Bro, my SQ box has 4 half-inch bolts through it into the back wall, holding it in place. Now my front sub, we'll figure that out.
Is that why your base is so slow?
Not anymore, bud. My base is fast now. High speed chicken feed. Well,
Yeah.
sir, I'll see you in the chat.
Yep. I'm gonna hop off here and go do house things.
I'm gonna go talk shit to Matt.
All right.
All right, everybody. Everyone who's still here. Last time you were still here, we fixed your engine noise, and what did we do the time after that? What did we fix after that? This time, we're gonna fix your imaging. You now have better imaging.
Yeah, you go to totaltuningusa.com.
That's right. That's how you get your imaging better. Jeff
All right.
has L's to deliver. Sign for this.
Yeah, no, we gonna hop off. See you guys.
Later. And in stream.